You ordered the salad, you skipped the fries, you made the healthy choice, or so you thought. That bottle of ranch or balsamic in your fridge, the one you drizzle over greens believing it's helping you, could be undoing your goals faster than any fast food dipping sauce. We're talking more sugar than a glazed donut, more sodium than a bag of chips, and ingredient lists that read like chemistry sets. The truth is, some of America's most trusted dressings hide problems that hit you with every pore, and the last one on this list is the biggest shock of all. 9. Kraft Ranch. It's the dressing that launched 1,000 salads. Kraft Ranch has been a refrigerator staple in American homes for decades. Creamy, tangy, and endlessly versatile, it's the go-to dip for everything from baby carrots to pizza crusts. Most people grab it without thinking twice because it's familiar, affordable, and seems harmless enough. But flip that bottle around, and the ingredient list tells a very different story. The base of Kraft Ranch isn't cream or buttermilk. It's soybean oil, one of the most heavily processed and inflammatory oils on the market. From there, the list spirals into modified food starch, monosodium glutamate, phosphoric acid, artificial flavors, and calcium disodium, EDTA, a chemical preservative used to maintain color. That's not a salad dressing, that's an industrial formula designed to taste good while lasting forever on a shelf. A single 2-tablespoon serving contains around 130 calories and 270 milligrams of sodium. But here's the problem. Nobody stops at 2 tablespoons. Most people pour 3 or 4 times that amount without realizing it, which means you could be consuming over 500 calories and more than 1,000 milligrams of sodium on a salad you thought was healthy. The texture is engineered to coat and cling, making every bite feel rich. But that richness comes from cheap filler oils and gums, not real dairy or quality fats. The flavor hits hard at first, then leaves a subtle chemical aftertaste that lingers longer than it should. Kraft Ranch might be convenient, but when you're eating more additives than a fast food dipping sauce, convenience becomes a costly trade. And speaking of iconic ranch dressings, the next one on our list is even more famous and even more deceiving. 8. Hidden Valley Original Ranch. If Kraft Ranch is the everyday workhorse, Hidden Valley is the celebrity. This is the brand that invented ranch dressing back in the 1950s and turned it into a cultural phenomenon. Today, it dominates grocery store shelves, restaurant menus, and even has its own devoted fan base. But fame doesn't equal quality. And Hidden Valley Original Ranch is proof that popularity can hide a lot of problems. Let's start with what's inside. The first ingredient is vegetable oil, typically soybean or canola, both of which are highly refined and prone to oxidation. Then comes a parade of thickeners, emulsifiers, and preservatives, including modified food starch, monosodium glutamate, disodium phosphate, and artificial flavors. The buttermilk listed on the label sounds wholesome, but it's buried beneath layers of industrial processing. 2 tablespoons of Hidden Valley Original Ranch deliver around 140 calories, 14 grams of fat, and 260 milligrams of sodium. That might seem moderate until you remember that most servings are far larger. A typical restaurant-side salad drenched in ranch can easily contain 4 to 6 tablespoons, pushing your sodium intake past 700 milligrams before you've touched your main course. The preservatives are another red flag. Hidden Valley uses phosphoric acid and sorbic acid to extend shelf life, which means your dressing can sit in the fridge for months without spoiling. That's great for convenience, but terrible for anyone trying to avoid synthetic additives in their diet. Taste-wise, Hidden Valley delivers that signature tangy, herby punch that made it famous. But underneath the flavor is a heaviness that coats your mouth and doesn't quite feel natural. That's the gums and stabilizers doing their job. Hidden Valley might be the original, but original doesn't mean optimal. And the next dressing on our list takes a completely different approach to sabotaging your salad. 7. Wishbone Italian Dressing. Italian dressing sounds light. It sounds fresh. It sounds like something your grandmother might have whisked together with olive oil, vinegar, and garden herbs. That's exactly what Wishbone wants you to believe. But their Italian dressing is a far cry from anything remotely Mediterranean. The foundation of Wishbone Italian is water and soybean oil, not extra virgin olive oil. Soybean oil is cheap to produce, high in omega-6 fatty acids, and has been linked to inflammation when consumed in excess. The rest of the ingredient list includes sugar, high fructose corn syrup in some varieties, xanthan gum, calcium disodium, EDTA, and natural flavors, which is food industry code for proprietary chemical blends. 1 2-tablespoon serving contains approximately 80 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 240 milligrams of sodium. Those numbers look acceptable until you consider that Italian dressing is typically poured more liberally than creamier options. A full salad can easily absorb a quarter cup or more, multiplying those sugars and sodium levels rapidly. The added sugars are particularly deceptive. Most people don't expect sweetness in a savory Italian dressing, but manufacturers add it to balance the acidity and make the flavor more addictive. Over time, those hidden sugars contribute to blood sugar spikes, increased cravings, and unwanted weight gain. When you taste Wishbone Italian, it hits with a sharp vinegar tang followed by an oddly sweet finish that doesn't quite belong. The herbs taste more like dried powder than fresh ingredients. And the oily residue it leaves on your greens is a reminder that this dressing is mostly processed fat with flavoring. Wishbone Italian might look innocent, but it's a vegetable oil delivery system disguised as a light dressing. And the next one on our list takes creamy deception to a whole new level. 6. Ken's Steakhouse. Caesar salad feels indulgent. The creamy dressing, the parmesan, the croutons. It's a classic combination that makes eating greens feel like a treat. And Ken's Steakhouse Caesar is one of the most popular bottled versions on the market. Walk down any grocery store aisle and you'll see it prominently displayed, often positioned as the premium choice for Caesar lovers. The brand has been around since 1941, giving it decades of credibility and consumer trust. But what you're really getting is a sodium bomb wrapped in processed stabilizers that would make any nutritionist cringe. The ingredient list starts with soybean oil, followed by water, Parmesan cheese, egg yolk, and then the problems begin. Anchovy paste adds authentic Caesar flavor, but it's accompanied by xanthan gum, potassium sorbate, calcium disodium, EDTA, and a hefty dose of salt. The Parmesan and anchovy provide some real flavor, but they're swimming in a sea of fillers and preservatives. Traditional Caesar dressing requires just a handful of ingredients: olive oil, egg yolk, garlic, lemon, anchovy, and Parmesan. Ken's version contains nearly 20 ingredients, most of which exist solely to extend shelf life and cut production costs. 2 tablespoons of Ken's Caesar contain around 170 calories, 18 grams of fat, and 300 milligrams of sodium. That's more fat than a small order of fast food fries. And because Caesar dressing is meant to coat every leaf generously, most people consume far more than the listed serving size. A full Caesar salad with Ken's dressing can deliver over 700 milligrams of sodium and 40 grams of fat without batting an eye. For context, a McDonald's cheeseburger contains 600 milligrams of sodium. Your supposedly healthy salad just outpaced a burger. The texture is thick and clings to lettuce like glue, which feels satisfying but indicates heavy use of emulsifiers and stabilizers. The flavor is undeniably savory with that signature garlicky punch, but there's an artificial undertone that real homemade Caesar simply doesn't have. Some consumers report a slightly metallic aftertaste, likely from the preservatives working overtime to keep the product shelf stable for months. Ken's Steakhouse Caesar turns a relatively simple salad into a calorie and sodium trap. It's the kind of dressing that makes you wonder why you bothered ordering greens in the first place. And the next dressing exposes how even the most trusted labels can hide problems you'd never expect. If you're learning something new here, hit subscribe and keep these eye-opening breakdowns coming. 5. Newman's Own Balsamic Vinaigrette. Newman's Own has built its entire brand on trust. The friendly face of Paul Newman on every bottle. The promise that all profits go to charity. The wholesome image of simple, honest ingredients. It feels good to buy Newman's Own. You're supporting a good cause while feeding your family something presumably better than the competition. The brand has donated over $600 million to charity since its founding, which makes questioning their products feel almost ungrateful. But when it comes to their balsamic vinaigrette, that feel-good factor might be masking some uncomfortable truths. The first ingredient is olive oil, which sounds promising. But look closer and you'll find canola oil listed right behind it, meaning the dressing is a blend of oils rather than pure olive oil. Canola oil is highly refined and doesn't offer the same heart-healthy benefits as extra virgin olive oil. Then comes sugar, which most people don't expect in a vinaigrette marketed as a lighter option. A 2-tablespoon serving contains approximately 90 calories, 9 grams of fat, and 4 grams of sugar. 4 grams of sugar might not sound alarming, but that's a full teaspoon in just 2 tablespoons of dressing. Pour a typical amount over a salad, and you're adding 2 to 3 teaspoons of sugar to what's supposed to be a healthy meal. Over time, those hidden sugars add up and contribute to everything from weight gain to blood sugar imbalances. The balsamic vinegar itself raises questions too. High-quality balsamic is aged, complex, and expensive. Authentic balsamic from Modena, Italy, can take 12 to 25 years to produce. The version used in mass-produced dressings is often diluted, sweetened, and bolstered with caramel coloring to mimic the real thing. Newman's own balsamic vinaigrette tastes pleasant enough, tangy with a hint of sweetness, but it lacks the depth and richness of an authentic balsamic. The texture is thin and watery, typical of vinaigrettes cut with cheaper oils. The Newman's own name inspires confidence, but the product itself is more processed than it appears, and the next dressing proves that even the word organic can't save you from hidden pitfalls. 4. Annie's Organic Goddess. Dressing organic is supposed to mean better, cleaner ingredients, no synthetic pesticides, a product you can trust. And Annie's has become the poster child for organic convenience foods, complete with a cute bunny logo and earthy packaging that screams wholesome. Parents reach for Annie's products believing they're making responsible choices for their families. But Annie's Organic Goddess dressing is proof that organic doesn't automatically mean healthy. In fact, it might be one of the sneakiest calorie traps in the natural foods aisle. The ingredient list includes expeller-pressed canola oil, organic tahini, apple cider vinegar, organic tamari soy sauce, lemon juice, and sea salt. On the surface, these ingredients sound reasonable. There are no artificial preservatives or synthetic additives, but the combination creates a dressing that's surprisingly dense and calorie-heavy. 2 tablespoons pack around 130 calories and 250 milligrams of sodium. That's comparable to many fast food dipping sauces. And because Goddess dressing has a thick, pourable consistency, it's easy to use 3 or 4 tablespoons without realizing it. A generously dressed salad can top 400 calories from dressing alone. That's more calories than a fast food soft serve cone, added to what was supposed to be your lightest meal of the day. The tahini and soy sauce provide genuine flavor, but they also contribute significant sodium and fat. The canola oil, even expeller pressed, is still a refined seed oil that many health experts recommend limiting. And while organic ingredients are preferable to conventional ones, they don't negate the caloric density or sodium content of the final product. Organic sugar is still sugar. Organic oil still contains the same calories per gram as conventional oil. Taste-wise, Annie's Goddess dressing delivers a savory, slightly tangy flavor with earthy undertones from the tahini. It's genuinely enjoyable, but enjoyable doesn't mean light, and many consumers mistake organic for low-calorie, which this dressing absolutely is not. Annie's Organic Goddess dressing isn't toxic. It's just far heavier than its health-conscious branding suggests, and the next dressing takes the sweetness problem to an entirely different extreme. 3. Panera at Home Fuji Apple Vinaigrette. Panera has built its reputation on the promise of clean, wholesome food. Their cafes feel welcoming. Their menu reads like a nutritionist's dream. So when they launched a line of at-home salad dressings, consumers assumed they were getting restaurant-quality ingredients in a bottle. But Panera at Home Fuji Apple Vinaigrette tells a very different story. The defining feature of this dressing is sweetness, and lots of it. A 2-tablespoon serving contains 9 grams of sugar. That's more than 2 teaspoons in a tiny serving. For comparison, a small fast food chocolate chip cookie has about 10 grams of sugar. So, dressing your salad with Panera's Fuji Apple Vinaigrette is nutritionally similar to crumbling a cookie over your greens. The ingredient list reveals the source. Sugar is listed prominently alongside apple juice, concentrate, and honey. These might sound natural, but your body processes them exactly the same as refined white sugar. The result is a dressing that spikes blood sugar and triggers cravings, rather than satisfying hunger. Each serving also contains around 100 calories and 180 milligrams of sodium. Those numbers escalate quickly when you pour freely, which most people do because vinaigrettes seem lighter than creamy dressings. A full salad can easily absorb 4 or 5 tablespoons, pushing sugar intake past the amount found in a can of soda. The taste is unmistakably sweet, with fruity apple notes and a tangy finish. It's pleasant in the way dessert is pleasant, but that's exactly the problem. This dressing belongs on a fruit tart, not a dinner salad. Panera's health halo has fooled millions of consumers, and the next dressing shows how a restaurant favorite can quietly become one of the biggest traps on the list. 2. Olive Garden signature Italian dressing. For decades, Olive Garden has marketed itself as the home of authentic Italian flavors. Endless breadsticks, family-style portions, and that famous house salad drenched in signature Italian dressing. The salad feels virtuous. It comes before the heavy pasta. It's covered in vegetables. But the dressing turns this appetizer into a sodium catastrophe. Olive Garden signature Italian dressing contains a staggering 440 milligrams of sodium per 2 tablespoon serving. That's nearly 20% of your daily recommended limit in just 2 tablespoons. Most restaurant portions use far more than that, meaning a single side salad can deliver over 1,000 milligrams of sodium before your entree arrives. Beyond sodium, the ingredient list includes sugar, preservatives, and the usual lineup of emulsifiers and stabilizers found in mass-produced dressings. The Italian herbs and vinegar provide familiar flavor, but they're overwhelmed by salt and sweetness designed to make the dressing hyper-palatable. The sugar content adds another 2 grams per serving, which might seem minor until you consider how liberally this dressing is poured at both restaurants and homes. Combined with the sodium, you're looking at a dressing that strains your cardiovascular system while spiking blood sugar simultaneously. Taste-wise, Olive Garden's dressing is tangy, slightly sweet, and heavily seasoned. It coats the iceberg lettuce and croutons with a glossy sheen that feels indulgent. But that indulgence comes at a cost your body pays long after you leave the table. Olive Garden signature Italian dressing transforms a simple salad into something closer to fast food than fresh Italian cuisine. But none of these offenders compare to the #1 worst dressing on our list, a product so shockingly sugary it barely qualifies as salad dressing at all. 1. Brianna's home-style poppy seed dressing. It looks wholesome, the glass bottle, the cursive font, the words home style right there on the label. Brianna's poppy seed dressing presents itself as something your grandmother might make from scratch. Charming, nostalgic, and utterly trustworthy. But this dressing harbors a dirty secret that makes it the single worst offender on our entire list. A 2 tablespoon serving contains 10 grams of sugar. Let that sink in. 10 grams. That's more than 2.5 teaspoons of sugar in what most people consider a small pour. To put this in perspective, a glazed donut from most bakeries contains around 10 to 12 grams of sugar. So, dressing your salad with Brianna's is essentially the sugar equivalent of crumbling a donut over your lettuce. The ingredient list confirms the problem. Sugar is the second ingredient right after soybean oil. High fructose corn syrup appears in some formulations as well. The poppy seeds and cider vinegar provide flavor, but they're floating in a base of processed oil and sweeteners. Each serving also delivers around 130 calories and 130 milligrams of sodium. The sodium is lower than some competitors, but it's irrelevant when the sugar content is this extreme. A typical salad with 3 to 4 tablespoons of Brianna's poppy seed dressing can contain 30 to 40 grams of sugar, exceeding the American Heart Association's daily recommendation for added sugars in a single meal. The taste is predictably sweet, almost dessert-like, with a faint tanginess that can't balance the overwhelming sugary flavor. It coats greens in a sticky, syrupy film that makes the entire salad feel like a confection. Brianna's home-style poppy seed dressing isn't a salad dressing. It's liquid candy marketed as something healthy. And that makes it the most deceptive product on grocery store shelves today.